Greetings, my beloveds. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Violet Flame Intuitive. I am Anika Faye, back with another message from Spirit for the week of November the 24th to the 30th, 2024. If you like what you have been seeing and hearing on my channel, please like, share, and subscribe so you can be notified of my latest postings. And also, please leave a comment to let me know how the message resonates and how the energies have been showing up for you in your life. If you would like a personal reading, don't hesitate to shoot me an email at violetflameconsults@gmail.com, and I'll work with what fits your needs and budget. So let's get started. I began this reading with a 3-card pull from the Lenormand deck to confirm the central theme Spirit wants to address for the collective for this week. The cards were the Tower, the Tree, and the Scythe. The Tower can mean withdrawal and isolation or separation. The Tree typically represents health, vitality, or the life force energy. The Scythe means an ending, a finality, a final decision, or a cutting off of something, often suddenly, but definitively. We can see here that vitality is being removed on both sides, with this tree here in the middle of 2 cards that do not contribute to its continued growth. The continued vitality of something requires an ongoing influx of life force energy. And we know that the withdrawal of vitality will ultimately lead to death. Y'all, this message already feels pretty straightforward to me. Spirit wants to bring to our attention that when we withdraw our energy from a thing, it can no longer thrive. I heard, where attention goes, energy flows. So my question for the collective is this: in what ways are you giving your energy to something that simply does not serve you? This concept keeps coming up. So it feels like more of a systemic problem to me now. Meaning, there are more than just a few people who are giving their energy to something that isn't good for them. It's more like almost everybody is giving their energy away to things that don't replenish them, that are simply not in their highest good. These can be things like negative thought patterns, limiting beliefs, stagnant situations, draining commitments, outdated priorities, toxic influences, obsolete goals, harmful agendas, etc. So let's get into the 9-card spread to find out if we're on the right track with where this spiritual message is going. So there is a lady here at the center of the reading. Does she represent an actual person? Or is her presence the representation of something broader? None of the surrounding cards stand out to support a broader meaning. So I'm going to go with an actual person here. In fact, I feel this lady represents the individual, similar to how the gentleman in last week's reading represented the individual. This reading could be building on last week's concepts of personal accountability, but in a way that feels more urgent. The gentleman was in this position last week, and now we have the individual here in the middle, the central figure of the entire reading. The focus of this reading is on you, on each one of us, as individuals who make up the collective. I'm noticing the lady here is not forward-looking. She's focused on the past or what has already occurred, which is what this last column represents, the past. I heard, don't do that, especially with the fox here. The fox, generally a warning card. Focusing on past events and occurrences is a trap, really. The distraction that keeps us from focusing on our dreams, goals, and aspirations. We need to let go of our attachment to the things that happened in the past that we are not happy about, that we were still replaying what shoulda, coulda, woulda been. Whether it happened years ago, last month, last week, or yesterday, we gotta find a way to let that stuff go. Because holding on and replaying the story in our minds leaves no room for other potentialities or opportunities. So let me tell you what happened to me when I was trying to figure out who is this lady. I suddenly got sleepy, and this is what happens when a spiritual download wants to come through. I then became focused on a deceased family member of mine. So as an alternative to laying down, I decided to go outside to get my feet in the grass and my third eye in the sunshine to clear up my channel. Doing this spiritual exercise got me to thinking about the reading in more astrological terms. Though initially I did not see the astrological story in the cards. Well, as soon as the mosquitoes started to attack me outside, I heard, go run her natal chart. Yes, I live in a place that's still warm and we still have bugs flying around. I'm looking forward to cooler weather. Anyway, I resisted at first, questioning, how can an ancestor's natal chart possibly help me figure this reading out? But I know better than to go against my intuition. So I ran the natal chart of my deceased family member. And oh my God. She was born with a triple conjunction and exact stellium of 3 key planets for this week: the Sun, Saturn, and Pluto. Literally all 3 planets fell at exactly 12 degrees of Leo in the 9th astrological house of broader horizons, expansion, learning, and growth. I have never seen that in a person's chart. You can't make this stuff up. This confirms the astrological representation of this reading, and it has unlocked my ability to see those astrological representation in these cards. Ashe to the ancestors for your assistance here. Now let's get into these cards in a way that pulls out the astrological references. And then let's get into what the actual astrology is for the week to confirm what we are getting. Looking at the cards in this top row, the Tower represents Saturn. As you can see here in the upper right-hand corner, there's a Saturn symbol. Saturn represents structure, discipline, and boundaries. Likewise, the mountain represents a permanent structure, an obstacle, similar to a boundary. And notice the sun is shining behind it. Furthermore, the mountain has a Capricorn symbol in the upper right-hand corner, and this is the sign that is ruled by Saturn. And finally, the stork represents a move, a relocation, a transition. So this feels like the recent transition of Pluto into a new sign that occurred on November the 19th, last week. Pluto's transition to Aquarius does in fact represent the overcoming or removal of rigid structures, limiting systems of governance, giving way to lighter energies of freedom, and innovation. Wow. So let's keep going. In this middle row, we have the individual with the lady here who is unfortunately focused on works and strategies of the past, ways in which she or he felt wronged or deceived with the fox here. But with the ship here, I heard, our ships are coming in. The phrase, our ships are coming in, is a metaphor that means the rewards for your hard work, patience, or investments are arriving. It originates from the idea of merchant ships returning to port with valuable goods after a long voyage. And this card represents a long voyage. Figuratively, it suggests that a long awaited success, opportunity, or benefit is finally on its way. But you will miss it if you are bogged down in and distracted by the events of past years, months, weeks, or days. So this tells me we still have some work to do, with the fox also representing work to do on an individual accountability level to even be able to receive our gains and returns, profits, acknowledgement, gratification, benefits, etc. And by work, I mean shadow work, as the fox peers at its shadow in the pond. Shadow work is the process of exploring and integrating the unconscious or hidden parts of yourself. These aspects may include suppressed emotions, fears, or traits you reject or deny. By acknowledging and working with your shadow, you gain greater self-awareness, emotional healing, and personal growth. It's about embracing all parts of yourself to achieve wholeness. This is ultimately the reason why I read cards for the collective and provide personal readings, to help people work through their shadows with the goal of living a more fulfilling life. So in this last row, we see the subconscious or undercurrent of the reading. We have the letter, which represents communication. And communication is ruled by the planet Mercury, by the way. I actually had completely forgotten that Mercury goes retrograde at the end of this week for about a 3 to 5 week period. And this is in keeping with the astrological theme of this whole reading. To confirm the reading is referring to the Mercury retrograde here, we even have the mice card. The mice can represent something diminishing. And that is exactly what happens when Mercury goes retrograde. The quality of communication diminishes, and the quantity of communication slows down. So much so that things can feel stagnant for a while. Astrologically, this retrograde period is associated with miscommunications, delays, and disruptions in areas that Mercury rules, such as travel, technology, and agreements. It's a time for reviewing, reflecting, and revisiting past matters, but not for the purpose of fixation and wallowing and feeling stuck or distracted by them, but for the purpose of reassessing and realigning ourselves with our true intentions. And don't get complacent with the house here and fall asleep, or back to sleep, I should say, for those who have experienced a spiritual awakening. And as you withdraw your energy from what no longer serves you, as I mentioned earlier in the 3-card pool, do that mindfully and be fully aware of the thoughts and feelings that need to be adjusted. So now that I'm seeing all the astrological energy, let's look at what the planets are actually doing in the sky. We already know Pluto transitioned into Aquarius on November the 19th. Since then, several other significant astrological aspects have involved the Sun, Saturn, and Pluto again. And as I mentioned, Mercury brings up the rear for the week. Here's an overview of these alignments and their influences. First up, the Sun is sextile Pluto on November the 21st, 2024. The Sun at 29 degrees is forming a sextile to Pluto at 29 degrees of Aquarius. These are two powerhouse players working together. The Sun, which is our core essence and vitality, is teaming up with Pluto, the planet of transformation and power. This sextile is all about stepping into your power. It's like the universe saying, hey, you've been working on some big changes. Now's the time to own them. It's time. Your ship's coming in. Think empowerment, deep insights, and maybe even unlocking a hidden strength or truth about yourself. And let's talk about the 29th degree. Keeping in mind here that the lady is card number 29. Can't make this stuff up. The 29th degree is the anaretic degree, or the critical degree, symbolizing endings, urgency, and tying up loose ends. Remember the Sith card in the 3-card pool. Pluto is saying transform or be transformed. This energy is personal with the individual here, but it's also collective. Think about big shifts and how we view power dynamics in society. Innovation, technology, or even humanitarian movements might take a big leap forward. Next, the Sun is square Saturn on November the 22nd, 2024. Now things get a little more intense, as this very next day, the Sun moves into 0 degrees of Sagittarius and squares Saturn at 0 degrees of Pisces. Squares bring challenges, and that's what the mountain represents. And this one is all about tension between your ambitions and your responsibilities. Picture this. The Sun in Sagittarius is all about freedom, expansion, and pursuing your big dreams. But Saturn in Pisces is like, are you sure you're ready for this? Let's check the fine print. Saturn's the taskmaster, the one making sure you've done the work and have the discipline to back up your ambitions. And it's interesting because the Mice card also represents details. At the 0 degree, this energy feels fresh, raw, and full of potential. It's the start of something new. But before you leap forward, warning card, Saturn is here to test your foundation with the house here. Collectively, this could bring challenges around big societal dreams. Like, are we being realistic about our visions for the future? For you personally, this might feel like a cosmic nudge to face the obstacles head on, not focusing on what happened in the past that you didn't like. Remember, Saturn rewards those who do the work, as this middle row represents. Lastly, Mercury retrograde kicks in on November the 25th, 2024. Mercury goes retrograde at 22 degrees of Sagittarius. And like I said, Mercury retrograde is infamous for communication breakdowns. But this time it's happening in fiery, truth-seeking Sagittarius. So what does that mean? This retrograde is about revisiting your beliefs, which is what this tower represents. Limiting beliefs. Sagittarius loves the big picture. Philosophy, education, long-distance travel. But Mercury retrograde says, let's slow down and re-examine what's really working for you here. Are your goals aligned with your truth? Have you been chasing ideals that need tweaking? This retrograde can feel a bit chaotic, but it's an opportunity to pause and recalibrate. Why does this all matter? Well, for you personally, these alignments are asking you to step up, own your power. Thanks, Pluto. Face your responsibilities. Thank you, Saturn. And rethink your truth. Thank you, Mercury retrograde. It's a time of self-discovery, but it's not without its challenges. And for the collective, on a global scale, we're looking at themes of transformation with Pluto, accountability with Saturn, and reevaluating our beliefs with Mercury. Whether it's changes in leadership, breakthroughs in technology, or shifts in societal values, these aspects are paving the way for big collective growth. Folks, the cards have spoken, and the message is clear. This reading highlights a journey of self-awareness, growth, and alignment. It's about you, the individual, as a part of the collective. It encourages you to reflect on areas of life that no longer serve you, such as outdated habits, unhelpful patterns, or draining attachments, and to embrace the discipline and lessons Saturn brings for lasting growth. The metaphor of our ships coming in reminds you that hard work and patience yield rewards, whether in the form of benefits, achievements, or recognition. Shadow work emerges as a powerful tool for integrating hidden aspects of yourself, fostering wholeness through self-awareness, reflection, and compassion. Mercury retrograde serves as a reminder to slow down and reassess and reconnect with past matters, using those disruptions as opportunities for deeper insight and recalibration. Altogether, these themes invite introspection, healing, and preparation for the new. So that's what I have for you guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know how it resonates and how the energies are treating you. And I wish you all a beautiful week. Peace be with you. Ashe.